Hi, I'm Matt Joblin and welcome to IP Go, the show where we take a look at the IPO world, past, present and future. Today we're going to take a look at Warner Music Group, one of the world's biggest music entertainment companies. The New York-based firm is actually the third largest recording label in the world, home to artists like Cardi B, Ed Sheeran, Bruno Mars and Led Zeppelin. The recording company is attempting to cash in on the streaming boom with a listing that would value it up to $13.3 billion. The Nasdaq planned listing represents the latest stage of a dramatic turnaround in the fortunes of the music business. Warner was bought for $3.3 billion in 2011 by Access Industries when the industry seemed to be in a terminal decline. Since, the music industry has been reinvigorated by streaming services, and last year the Chinese company Tencent Holdings bought 10% of the Universal Music Group at a price that valued Universal at more than $33 billion. Tencent is reportedly in talks to invest $200 million in Warner Music Group ahead of the IPO. Warner Music is reportedly also working to line up institutions that, along with Tencent, would serve as anchor investors, contributing a total of more than $1 billion towards a fundraising goal of as much as $1.8 billion. Warner IPO would float 70 million shares, or 13.7% of its common stock, for between $23 and $26 a share, valuing the company's equity from $11.7 billion to $13.3 billion. Warner had nearly $3 billion in debt and $484 million in cash at the end of March, which would put the company's enterprise value at about $16 billion if shares sell at the high end of the announced range. Warner's shares are being sold by Access Industries, and that company, not Warner, will receive proceeds from the sale. Furthermore, Access will retain 99% of voting power through its ownership of a separate class of stock. Warner's IPO reflects a resurgent industry that reportedly had $20.2 billion in revenue last year, up from $14 billion in 2014. Music is known for its dramatic delivery shifts from vinyl to cassette and cassette to CD. But the transition to digital has not been an easy one to monetize, which caused a huge slump in the industry. Streaming, which barely registered as a source of income a decade ago, now accounts for nearly 80% of retail sales revenue in the United States. And while many artists complain that their royalties from streaming services are minuscule, the new format has been a boom for major record companies and music publishers, which collect large licensing payments for the use of their catalogs. Like virtually all music companies, Warner has ridden the streaming wave. For its last fiscal year, which ended in September, Warner Music had $4.5 billion in revenue, up from $3 billion in 2015. This was an IPO originally set for February, but due to the coronavirus pandemic, was pushed back. So, as usual, make sure you do your due diligence before making any investment decisions. This is an IPO that requires careful consideration before placing any bets. Stay safe and see you next week.